Good evening from the Gambia Radio and Television Services, and welcome to the news at 10. First, we begin with the headlines. The Youth and Sports Minister, accompanied by a high-powered delegation, tells Gambian youths to embrace the informal and productive sectors as the tour party navigate around the country to popularize the new development scheme recently hatched by His Excellency the President. The Fisheries Minister tours renowned fishing factories in the Greater Banjul area in a bid to harness the potentials that exist in the sector and make fishing an all-year-round business. African leaders meeting in Abuja calls for more funds to fight infectious diseases hampering the development of the continent. And government troops reportedly kill more than 100 recalcitrant M23 rebels in the latest tit-for-tat fighting in eastern Congo. These and other stories coming ahead in the news. I am Fat Kamara. Well, thank you very much for joining us. A delegation comprising of political vanguards, officials of Kanilai Family Farm Limited, and the Minister for Youth and Sports have embarked on a countrywide tour to actualize President Jammeh's call for young people to be fully engaged in agriculture and fishing. The new initiative, dubbed Youth in Agriculture and Fishing Initiative, YAFI, as Babukar Kamara reports, seeks to enhance young people to engage in the productive sectors.
Driven in a convoy of 7 vehicles, abating a practice of leading by example initiative is a new concept drawn upon President Jammeh's recent dialogue with the People's Store.
The President just went around the country during his dialogue with the People's Store, calling on young people in particular to go back to the land and farm. Now, it's a call that he's made over the years, since '94, we all know. And evidently, youths have been going back.
The manager KGI, Pabojang is with us. You have the minister, you have myself as National Youth Mobilizer, and the youths that are also nominated or elected one way or the other in the National Assembly. Together with, youth from the National Youth Council and from the other satellite institutions, from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Both of us, came together and then, establish, a working committee called YAFI, Youth in Agriculture and Fishing Initiative.
YAFI, as commonly referred to, seeks to engage a broader spectrum of Gambian youths, actualizing the President's call for Gambians to go back to the land and grow what they eat. The call in no small measure has been neglected by political vanguards, come advocates of his call to food self-sufficiency, as they transverse provincial Gambia to popularize the new scheme.
As the Minister responsible for youth activities in this country has come out to visit all the youth farms in the country and the youth council farms, so that he can see for himself firsthand what the youths are doing, and to give them any possible advice to improve on their farming. But here in Kunda Mamfati, we have a 5-hectare field. The 4 hectares is all maize, and the 1 hectare is all beans.
Sometimes when people see me with youths in the bush, they think that maybe I'm trying to offend them. No. Okay. I'm a Gambian youth, and I believe that I can work with the youths. And then I believe that even if they knock at my door at 3 o'clock a.m., I am ready for them. Because I have to be with them and then show them what the President has said. The family members or the people that are working under the President, they are also part of the team.
The first provincial leg of the tour started in the North Bank region, covering both the central and upper river regions, where meetings with the respective fractions of youth structures were held. This, as followed by visits to their average farm sizes of 2 hectares each, is considered as a remarkable best practice worthy of emulation.
We want to accommodate many young people in this garden. They will be paid in order to earn a decent living and avoid going through backway to Europe.
The Youth and Agriculture and Fishing Initiative seeks to transcend the high importation of basic consumables through enhanced crop cultivation by the Gambian youth. Talk continues. Babukar Kamara, GRTS.
Well, meanwhile, the Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources is also been doing the rounds in a bid to get the best out of the sector, which employs a teeming mass of young youths, Gambian youths. The first leg of the tour took the minister and delegation to the Atlantic Seafood, Pelican International and Kendaka Seafood. Abdullah Baji tells us more about plans being hatched by the authorities to make fishing an all-year-round business.
Sector has a huge potential for continuous socio-economic development in the Gambia. The country, with a coastline of about 80 kilometers, can be used for year-round fishing with a relatively widely populated fish species. The fisheries sector in the country is divided into two: the artisanal subsector, which is fishing mainly done by canoes, and the industrial subsector, which normally processes food with a good portion exported. This sector is, however, female-dominant, who account for a very large portion of the productive industry. The Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources Tuesday embarked on a familiarization tour of fish processing factories. The tour took the minister and delegation to Atlantic Seafood, Kendaka Seafood, as well as Pelican Seafood International, which are all fish processing industries. The visit availed the minister the opportunity to have a first-hand information of how processing is done, as well as some of the constraints this sector is faced with. Immediately after wrapping up his tour, the Honorable Minister described the visit as vital, as it availed him the opportunity to have a better understanding of the operations of fishing factories, something that will also give people a better understanding of the sector.
I mean, the visit is set on three aspects. One, to create the room where the owners of these factories are aware of what is actually happening in terms of government's infrastructure for the development of our fishery sector, like the public jetty, which has been just handed over to the Gambia Port Authority a couple of weeks ago, waiting for the commissioning by the President. And for them, as the commercial part of it and where the end result goes to, it is important for us to talk to them, put them on their toes, and enjoy the facilities that has been created by government.
The Fisheries Ministry recently handed over a jetty to the Gambia Ports Authority, a move Minister Guy said will play a crucial role in creating a more lucrative and affordable fish market.
When you talk about the fishing sector, if I might be right, you're talking about the artisanal and the main sort of commercial part of it, where it comes to the industrial part of it. And the artisanal is the main supplier. But again, with the new jetty here, when you had this landing catch coming as a fish product, it will go to the local market, I suppose, and with a lot of trawlers coming to bat here, we might have the raw material spill over to the market. Then you and me can be buying fish at a very cheap price at any given time.
Describing the overall standard of the fishing facilities as encouraging, the minister considered constant supervision as a key function of his ministry as part of their relentless efforts to keep at par with the demands of the market, thereby significantly contributing to the country's GDP.
The standards are good because, supervision, like I always say, is going on. Of course, the Department of Fisheries are aware of what is exactly happening within these sectors. You've talked to Mr. Njai, who is, very much informed about what's happening. And that's all we wanted to know. Let the department or the ministry know what is happening, together with the Gambian populace to know what is happening. Because like I said earlier, these are our resources and we have to make use of it and to know exactly where it goes.
The familiarization tour by the minister is seen as timely and is expected to further cement the relationship that exists between the private sector and government. The move is anticipated to entice young people of the country to venture into fishing as a domain capable of creating a more viable youthful populace as well as life-changing employment opportunities. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Abdullah Baji.
Well, it is often common to hear customers complaining about the lack of money to spend during the month of Ramadan, especially at a time of heightened price escalation in basic food items. While Ibrahim Balde was out in the market to examine what commodities are selling, like hot cakes, and the reaction of the customers and business operators alike.